And learning update, Mr. Ross.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this point, we don't have a formal report. As later on the agenda, we're adopting curriculum material in math and AP. When you take a look at textbooks and AP psychology, maybe it wasn't. There you go. I think it's proximity. AP psychology, human geography, bridge and algebra, so we have a lot of things going on. I just wanted to extend my thanks to all the art teachers. I was listening to Principal Knight talk about all of the weekends and evenings that the art teachers were here, putting up things in the hallways, and I know we're going to spend just as much time taking all the art show work apart when this is all said and done. So they've done a tremendous job, and I know we're going to thank them, the board's going to thank them in many ways too, but from the teaching and learning department, we're just so pleased and impressed with the work that our art teachers do. I know they're so very dedicated to their students, and we just really appreciate everything they do for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Now, one of the funnest jobs in the district is our communications department. We have our communications report. Mrs. Sanders.
Good evening.
Hello.
I didn't have anything to report this evening.
No way.
No way. Yes, way.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda then would be our committee reports. I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Root, and you can start this today.
So my committee, closer.
Yeah.
My committee is BGEF, and there's this. I think Teacher Appreciation Week is coming up, and there's been a designation of dollars, funds that have been received to give each school an amount of money, and in conjunction with that, for Teacher Appreciation, we're going to be bringing in some fruit trays and food to celebrate that week of Teacher Appreciation, which is an awesome thing. We did not have a school tour this time. I have one hopefully this week with facilities. I'm on the committee of the audit committee with Ms. Nichols, and we met with Ms. Hayes and Ms. Martin and went over the couple of the items. One of them is the superintendent's budget and the board budget, and we didn't see anything there that was brought to our attention that was out of order. We also pulled some vouchers and didn't see any discrepancies there. We did have one question on one, and it was called Ready Rosie. And we had to pull that voucher, and we were kind of curious as who this person was. So I would like to call up Mr. Machad, and he maybe relate to that a little bit. What we found out what it was it was an app, and he'll kind of explain a little bit on that, how that is tied in there with the school.
Thank you. I'm obviously not an expert with the Ready Rosie app, but I do know a little bit about it. So it's an application that was purchased for some of our current kindergarten students and a lot of our incoming kindergarten students next year to better help prepare them for what an all-day kindergarten program might look like. The Ready Rosie app sends parents daily videos that are anywhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes. Different scenarios where they might be at the park or be at the grocery store, where the different scenarios play out, which could be learning and teaching opportunities for parents and students. But at this point, that's all I really know. You're welcome.
It's on? Okay, I'm going to try to repeat it so you can hear me. The legislative committee, working with Mark Clemens and some others to try to put together an idea for the legislature to be able to give us funding for the ALE students who come from outside the district. Right now, we don't get a count there. So that's something I want to thank Mark for helping me with that, and also want to thank this whole school for the art show. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Then we do have a couple other committees. Mr. McClintock has been on our FIT committee, and they haven't had a meeting, and the FIT stands for Facility Improvement Team. And then we have a Human Resource Committee that I am on, and we did not meet. Then as well as our School Tour Committee that Mr. Root had related to. And Mr. Ross and I did tour Daybreak Middle School, and Mr. Ross has some words to say.
We did tour Daybreak Middle School. We're very fortunate to tour it on a day when there's actually sunshine out. So that was kind of fun. We could go out to portable classrooms and not get wet. What I was impressed with was it seemed like every classroom that we toured at Daybreak Middle, there was hands-on activities. And the students were very engaged with doing projects, doing group work in math, English. It didn't seem to really matter what subject it was, that the students were engaged in very active learning. One particular classroom that we thought was pretty neat was the modeling class, where students were designing projects on the computer, and then we have a 3D printer, 3D modeling printer that actually prints out what they designed. So there were actually 3D models of cameras and 3D models of different objects that the kids were designing on the computer. So it was pretty neat to see where the kids had gone from the beginning of the class to this point. And the other thing that I thought was pretty impressive was the work in the hallway around student recognition, around their PBIS initiatives. Students were able to write sayings up on the walls for other kids about what they saw was neat about other students. So there was a lot of students encouraging other students. And that was all very displayed in the hallways as we walked around the school. So all in all, it was a great tour.
Thanks for the update. The next item on the agenda, and we're trying to go through this kind of fast because it is a board meeting, and sometimes it does mean it's kind of boring. The next item on our agenda is our quality schools advisory council. We received an email from Stark County requesting a board member to be on the quality schools advisory council. To make it a standing committee of the board, we have to make a motion to approve that, and then our board members would have to either be selected or choose to want to be on it. And Mr. Ross has mentioned that he would be the assistant or affiliate in case nobody else alternate in case the board member can't make the meeting.
I will move that we form a committee for the Clark County Schools Advisory Committee. We appoint a board member to represent us and Mr. Ross as our alternate representative.
So we have a motion on the floor. No? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. So there, one of the board members that would volunteer to be a member of this committee. Mr. Lewis? Will you volunteer?
I will volunteer and I'll try to be there when I can.
Perfect.
Business travel.
Perfect. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is our upcoming board events. We have a busy season coming up with a bunch of school school activities, with art views and the graduation. For board members, if you can make sure that you accept your calendar invite for each time to leave our views. And now for the moment that we've been managing for, Ms. Mitchell.
So, yes,
Mentioned that sometimes our ASB folks show up, and we just heard that some of you ASB is here, and we would dearly love to hear from you. How are you doing this fine evening? Very well. You might have to turn it on. Unless you want to talk to the booth and stop us.
So I'm Kelsey Algebra, and this is my fifth year ASB members from Affirmative High School. So we've had actually a lot of stuff going on this past few months. We had a blood drive on April 13th. We had the food drive that had just ended last Friday. And we just went to Portland State University Law Conference. It was I can't remember what day it was, but we just had that. It was actually, last Tuesday. It was actually really interesting to see, just learn more different stuff that has to go on with the law and what laws that we actually have. Like we had a cyberbullying class that we kind of learned more about what the schools can and can't do about cyberbullying, what initial reactions to that is. We had like a whole bunch of different classes. There's cyberbullying, gun control, climate, LGBTQIA. We had like elections, fair news, and reports type stuff. It was a lot of fun. But so what we have coming up, we have a Seattle field trip on Thursday, which is a lot of fun for our small school. It's something for us to kind of do and all get together. Go see the gun wall, the aquarium, go to Starbucks, and it's a lot easier for our small school that don't really get to meet a bunch of people there. It's where a lot of people get to meet. We have a Women's in Work field trip on May 19th. We've got prom on June 3rd. We go and join Prairie. Then we have graduation on June 13th and an end of year party that we're trying to do. I think we have that planned for May 30th. May 30th or like June 7th. But we definitely have that plan and we're trying to get that ball rolling. And then so far we've had over 40 graduates. So that's how many I counted the last time I was there. So I think that's about it. Any questions?
40 graduates right now.
I think
have already graduated this year,
yeah.
with the anticipation of obviously of a lot more finishing until graduation. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Where's the party going to be?
It will just be at
you can't go.
it'll just be at in like it'll be at Summit View. Yeah, just outside Summit View, just kind of eat. Yeah, for one thing, just eat, chill.
Grass area back there.
Yeah.
Nice. I think a band ought to play there. There's a band I heard called the Principals that are out there. No Principals?
He's the leader of that. You want to ask him?
I think Mr. Root should be invited to the stage. I think he becomes the clown.
Ouch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you on the 13th.
But, oh, 13. Not me, no. No. I would probably be there though to help out.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's, yeah.
Cool. Thanks. And also, as many of you know, this week there was Teacher Appreciation Week, and I'd like to have Ms. Peterson to help us read the proclamation.
It did. This is the State of Washington Proclamation written by Governor Jay Inslee. Whereas a strong, effective system of free public education for all children and youth is essential to our democratic system of government. And whereas the United States has made considerable progress in the social, technological, and scientific fields due to our system of free and universal public education. And whereas much of this progress can be attributed to the qualified and dedicated teachers entrusted with the educational development of our children. And whereas teachers provide opportunities for students to connect with the world around them, develop basic skills for success in life and work, experience the realization of high expectations, and the fulfillment of steps toward achievable goals. And whereas teachers should be accorded high public esteem, reflecting the value placed on their skills and abilities and the importance of public education. And whereas it is appropriate that teachers be recognized for their dedication and commitment to educating their students. Now, therefore, I, Jay Inslee, Governor of the State of Washington, do hereby proclaim May 8th through 12th, 2017 as Teacher Appreciation Week and May 9th, 2017 as Teacher Appreciation Day in Washington State. And I encourage all people in our state to join me in this special observance. Signed, 17th day of March, 2017, Jay Inslee, Governor of Washington. He is an elected person, correct? Let's hope he talks to the other elected people in Washington.
Well, thank you for reading the proclamation. I think there's probably every person in this room who has had a teacher, been a teacher, known a teacher, and had something to say positive about a teacher who made an impact in their life. I know I did. And I thank all of the teachers in our district who educate our kids so well. It's so exciting to see what goes on. Just look at the art. And speaking of art, let's get on with the show. I'd like to invite Shelley Halstead to come up. The pleasure of this art show is its history. Going back to a friend of mine, the father of one of our employees, a fabulous teacher, Bob Peck, who most of you probably know something about. And Shelley, thank you so much. Thank you for all the work that you've put together.
All right, well, we're going to start off by calling out the first place winners of the different categories of students, starting with primary and going through high school. When you hear your name, if you're in the crowd, if you could come stand over. Oh, actually, what you're going to do is you're going to come up here and shake everybody's hand. And then you're going to stand right over here, and we'll make a little line. And then after everybody's called out, we'll give everybody a round of applause. So, for primary art, first place goes to Bailey May, Tewks Valley Primary. Thomas for first grade, first place, Thomas Ferguson, Glenwood. Second grade, first place winner, Lilia Vermillier, and then favorite primary, and then first place, Cheyenne Cause, River Home League. Then first place, third grade, Sierra Sanders, River Home League, and Tewks. Fourth grade, first place, Abigail Dubinsky, Pleasant Valley Primary. Austin Malwitz, first place, Glenwood for fourth grade. And Danica Holt, first grade, Pleasant Valley Primary. For primary, third clay and three-dimensional work, first place goes to Jacob Luden, River Home League, and he's a fourth grader. Okay, let's give a warm applause for our primary. Okay, kids, you can find your seat and we'll bring up the middle schoolers. For our middle school, for all categories, we'll start with fifth grade for our Kangas first place day grade middle school. First place, sixth grade, Jasmine Conjugation. First place, that was River Home League. Another first place winner for sixth grade, Aletta King, Maple Grove Middle School. For seventh grade, first place goes to Laura Sergevsky, River Home League. And then first place, also for seventh grade, goes to Molly Jordan, Maple Grove Middle School. For eighth grade, first place goes to Roman Fabianchuk, first place day grade middle school. And Allison Eck, first place Amboy. Okay, let's give a warm applause for those two. All right, we'll head on to high school. Thank you, guys. So, for 2D art for high school, first place goes to Emma Yochum, or Yochum. First place, and that would be Cam Middle School. And then first place, 10th grade, would be Elena Lobanova from Cam. First place for 11th grade goes to Elizabeth Bushyak, Prairie High School. First place, 12th grade, goes to Hannah Shepsky from Prairie High School. For 3D clay high school, for three-dimensional work in clay for high schools, first place goes to Stephanie Sells, Prairie High School, 12th grade. First place also goes to Alessia Samolenko, Battleground High School, 12th grade. And then to Celia McDaniels, first place, Battleground High School, 10th grade. All right, now we're going to, you guys can stay there, we're going to add the computer, digital, all grade levels winners. We'll have Gabriel Elliott, first place, River Home Link, 9th grade. And then photography at all levels, we have Natalie Heidegger, first place, Battleground High School, 11th grade. Devin Witt, first place, Battleground High School, 12th grade. Let's give everybody a big round of applause. Thank you, Josie. All right, now we're going to do Best of Show winners. For high school, Stephanie Sells, 12th grade, Battleground High School. Best of Show for middle school, Jasmine Conjugation, 6th grade, River Home Link. And then Best of Show for primary, Jacob Luden, 4th grade, River Home Link. All right, do we have any people from Battleground Alliance here tonight? Okay, usually they read their own winners, but I will go ahead and read their first place winners. Battleground Art Alliance is an art group here in Battleground, and they always come and honor our students by coming around and giving them some awards as well. So I'm going to read out their names. You can kind of see something. So, for our Battleground Art Alliance winners, elementary, grades K to 4, first place goes to Malia Levitt, Maple Grove. For middle school, grades 5 to 8, first place goes to Violet Haychev, River Home Link, 7th grade. And for high school, grades 9 to 12, first place goes to Stephanie Sells, Prairie High School, 12th grade. For 3D, grades K to 12, first place goes to McKenna Talbert, Battleground High School, 12th grade. For photography, digital art, grades K to 12, first place goes to Sophia Bloomquist, Battleground High School, 11th grade. And then for their best of show, that goes to Elizabeth Bushjack, Prairie High School, 11th grade. Can we give everybody a big round of applause? And now I know there's always some other participants and winners that their names were not called, like the honorable mentions and second to thirds and stuff. If you guys are out there, why don't you stand? Any other art participants out there, students? Yeah. Let's give them a round of applause. I want to thank all of you. Yeah, we haven't done them all yet. So before we continue, I just want to thank all the students for their hard work, because without you, there would not be any art show. So now, before we continue on, I want to have Allison Touchort come up and announce our Bob Peck Award.
Thank you. If you are a student and a parent here, could you please give the teachers, our teachers, a round of applause for all the teachers. Coming to the art show is always a highlight of mine. It's always one of those things where you get to walk through the doors and just kind of get a reality break and enjoy the artwork that is on the walls, and it's just a time to just relax and enjoy. There's so much to see, and it just invokes so many memories and positive feelings. It's just a real big highlight. So my father was one of the founders of the art show for the school district, and he was an art teacher at Bellevue High School, and he loved art, and he found art in every place that we went. There was always something to see. He always looked at lines and patterns and designs and all those kinds of things. So the piece that we found this year was from a high school student, Michael Worley, and it was a still life, and that was one of the things my dad loved to photograph, still life, but he was able to capture this still life wonderfully in a pencil drawing. So Michael Worley, if you would come up for your award, please.
All right, now we'll have the superintendent give out his award.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to walk through the hallways of the school and see the artwork year after year. It's just amazing the talent that our young students have, and it's just it's an awe-inspiring experience for me. It's always difficult and challenging for me to choose one person's artwork over another because there's so many beautiful pieces. This year, I was taken aback by a piece that didn't seem to have any theme, it just seemed to like draw me in. And it was a piece by Julia Shabero, and it's the picture doesn't do it justice. You have to go out in the hall and see it. It's greetings, and it just draws me in. It's a serenity piece for me. So I talked to Julia a little bit about it this afternoon when I got here, and I want to bring her up and congratulate her on the award.
I don't know if I can say more words than what's already been said on how important arts are to the children of this district for their learning. We are going to take a 20-minute recess now. There is cake or cookies and goodies in the cafeteria. Then for the board meeting, we will reconvene in 20 minutes in the commons if you so wish to stay for the rest of the board meeting, which is right next door. Thank you all for coming.
School board meeting. And the first item on the agenda now would be our citizens' comments. Is there any citizens that are wishing to address the board at this current time? Yes, sir. We have as citizen comments, we'd like to hear from the citizens, and because it is a meeting of the board, we do limit the time for citizens.
You have my remarks there in front of you. Superintendent.
You might have to turn your mic on.
I have to turn it on.
Put the switch on.
Is it on now? Hello? Hello?
I think so.
There's a red light on.
It's on.
I can hear it.
Am I okay?
You're good.
Superintendent Ottawa, Assistant Superintendent Ross, and board members, good evening. For the record, my name is Terry Tate. I'm a National Board Certified Teacher currently finishing my second year teaching 8th grade math and science at Warren Middle School. I'm a retired pastor. I've been teaching in Washington State for 9 years. I'm concerned for our schools, and when I say that, I'm not speaking just of battleground. I'm sitting here before you this evening because I have very significant concerns for the education system as a whole. So here we are tonight celebrating these great things with art, and it's a lot of good things going on in our schools, but most of them have to do with individual people. From my perspective, the public school system is in trouble. At best, I would say the school system is dysfunctional. The issues of dysfunctionality they observe are rooted in my experience with the very fine teachers I have found that populate our system. Many are frustrated, some of the highly experienced are very tired, and most of our teachers, I believe, feel undervalued. This evening, I'd like to make what I hope is a productive suggestion that would help remedy the situation. My suggestion to you this evening is that the organizational model the school system is built upon is not appropriate for the task. School districts are built upon a business production model represented by a pyramid. A small management team at the top hires, trains, and manages successively larger layers of workers distributed amongst various departments and sites, each tasked with a job that ultimately contributes to the successful production of the final product. In this case, it would be successful adults. We need a new model. That model is the professional learning community, something that is highly spoken of in the district but only partially implemented. I quote one of the champions of the professional learning community, Richard Dufour, from an online article published at All Things PLC. I quote, "The idea of improving schools by developing PLCs is currently in vogue. People use this term to describe every imaginable combination of individuals. The professional learning community model has now reached a critical juncture, one well known to those who have witnessed the fate of other well-intentioned school reform efforts. There's initial enthusiasm giving way to confusion about the fundamental concepts driving the initiative. Then it's followed by inevitable implementation problems, the conclusion that the reform has failed to bring about the desired results, then abandonment of the reform, and the launch of a new search for the next promising initiative. My suggestion is that we reevaluate our understanding and implementation of the professional learning community model. The website All Things PLC provides extensive resources, including links to a conference this August in Seattle, Washington, which I think every member of this board should attend. I think the district would benefit greatly by a standing committee that explores the concept of full implementation of the professional learning community model and reports back to this board regularly as to our progress. Thanks for the opportunity to address you this evening."
Thank you, Mr. Cate.
Sure.
We don't have anybody else that signed up to address the board at this current time. Is there somebody that would like to address the board? Going once? Sold. Nobody's here. So we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is our consent agenda. And on our consent agenda, we have the approval of the minutes from the April 24th special meeting, the approval of the minutes from the April 24th regular school board meeting, our business and operations reports, our contract ratifications, the personnel reports, the student travel, financial reports, and the surplus of materials. Is there any questions?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
So there's a motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Next item on the agenda is our second reading and the adoption of the enVision mathematics curriculum. Dr. Goff.
Thank you. 2 weeks ago, we brought before the board a petition for adoption of the enVision mathematics curriculum for Algebra, Geometry, and Algebra 2. I believe you've had a chance to review those materials, and I'm joined tonight by Colleen Homala and Monica Haynes, two teachers, one each from background at Prairie High Schools, should you have any additional questions.
Dawn? Okay, I'll move that the Board of Directors approve the adoption of enVision Algebra, enVision Geometry, and enVision Algebra 2, published by Pearson Publishing, 2018.
So we have a motion on the floor. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
On behalf of the math teachers and students of this district, thank you very much.
On behalf of the board, thank you to those teachers and administrators who went through these with and made a very wise choice. They were incredible.
So the next item on the agenda is the adoption of resolution E17.
Good evening. So I think you've all heard that we had flooding damage at Maple Grove in the Longhouse last Wednesday night. There was a break in the sprinkler line at the floor level, line that supplies the sprinkler system. And there Is that better?
Way better.
Okay, so there was water damage in Maple Grove in the Longhouse last Wednesday night. There's a break in the sprinkler line at the floor level, but it's the line that supplies the sprinkler system. I think I got called out about 7 o'clock or so out there. There's about 4 to 6 inches, depending on the place in the building. And we called out our restoration company that the insurance and us work with quite regularly. And as part of that, we're bringing an emergency resolution to the board tonight so that we can commence with work. It'll all be covered by insurance except for the deductible. The restoration, they've done quite a bit already. They pulled out the carpets, I think, about 1 o'clock on last Wednesday night. They started floating up and called in a septic tank to pump out water immediately. And this resolution, E17, will allow us to proceed forward without any delay in the restoration process and the claim with the insurance. Any questions?
What is our deductible?
Our deductible is $10,000 per occurrence.
And what do we estimate? Do we have any kind of an estimate on this yet?
Well, I think Kevin mentioned earlier in the board meeting that we're actually meeting with them tomorrow to go over the cause of the breakage at 9 o'clock, and hopefully we'll know more about the restoration and the cost of that. Actually, I'm supposed to get a list of the damaged items, hopefully tomorrow, so until we get that, we can't really say. And, also, they've just been in what they call, stabilizing it. They're trying to dry it out, get the water out. They drilled a couple holes or cut open the floor in a couple places to see how wet it was under there with the insulation.
And where are we housing?
Luckily, it wasn't classrooms there. It was used by physical therapy, occupational therapy. There's some preschool screening for special ed. And Mark was going to use it for some assessment testing coming up. And I think he's going to contact the church and next door to see if we can use that. So it wasn't in a highly used location by lots of classroom students. That was good.
I got a question, Linda. How did we find out about this? Did the fire department, did it trigger the fire department, or how did
No, the custodians, I believe, seen the fire running out the doors. They thought something was wrong, so they called John Morris.
I'd like to make a motion that the Board of Directors adopt Resolution E17 declaring an emergency beginning May 3rd, 2017 for damage at Maple Grove K-8 school.
So there's a motion on the floor. Any further questions or comments? So Ms. Nichols said in my ear that they need to fix it. Hearing no other comments or questions, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the first reading of the Meyer's Psychology 4A. Ms. Meyer. And entourage.
Thanks, Village. Well, we're excited to offer some new AP courses this coming school year. And I'm joined up here by Jill Smith, Dr. Jill Smith, who supervises our higher AP program, and April Dalrymple, who actually runs our AP program for us. And so April and her team have made some selections, and I'm going to turn this over to her so she can describe them to you.
So we're looking at having AP Psychology and AP Human Geography at the high school. I'm skipping ahead to the next one, so I'll focus on psychology right now. We had 2 teachers at each school go through the options with AP. It's pretty clear cut. They just give us a list of books that are approved, and the teachers choose the ones that they want to look at, and they all went with the one that was recommended in the training that they have for the summer AP teachers. And so that's what we're looking at adopting.
Have we done any forecasting to know how many students might be interested?
I tried to check on that today, and they weren't giving me full answers yet. They didn't have.
One section for high school, probably?
That's all we're estimating at this time, but yeah, they didn't have any concrete numbers for me.
I've seen the book, I've spent some time with it, I will do some more in the next 2 weeks. I don't have any questions right now, though.
Any further questions?
No.
Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the first reading of Meyer's Psychology for AP.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. And you might as well stay up there and hit the next one.
Same thing for human geography. It's the other AP class that they're looking at implementing at the high schools. Same thing, they went through the list. They chose 2 different books for this one that apply for the class that they're looking at adopting.
Both of these courses would fulfill what requirements for graduation? This one would probably be social studies for,
Currently, they're offered as electives here in Battleground.
they would just be electives.
They would still be offered college credit if they pass the AP exam, and it would depend on the college they were transferring to, what kind of credit they get.
Well, I know they have one like that at Clark right now. My grandson's taking it and thoroughly enjoying, so.
I'd like to make a motion. The Board of Directors approve the first reading of the cultural landscape and the introduction to human geography. Rubenstein and James M. Patience Hall. Prentice Hall. By, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Human Resource Geography in Action, Kirby Horner and Gorver Wiley as the text for AP Human Geography.
So we have a motion on the floor. Is it clear, or do I need to repeat the motion from my notes? So it's taken as clear. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. So our next item is another first reading.
I'll just switch chairs. Okay, for the benefit of people in the audience, this is a motion to adopt the book Modeling with Mathematics, A Bridge to Algebra, second edition, published by Affirmative Publishing in 2012. We brought this course proposal for approval at the last meeting. This has been a pilot in our district, and so we are seeking approval for the book as well as the course for the book tonight. Little background, using the Modeling with Mathematics, A Bridge to Algebra 2 textbook for this pilot has enabled our staff at Algebra High School to have a resource specifically designed to address the needs of students moving from geometry to Algebra 2. Forgive me. Data over the course of this pilot have demonstrated an increase in the number of students who successfully transition into Algebra 2 and a significant reduction in the number of Fs being given to students who are engaged with this level of mathematics. Testimonials from both Algebra 2 teachers who receive students from the Modeling with Mathematics course and from the students themselves indicate both a high level of success and satisfaction with the course and the textbook which supports it. So we are asking for approval of the first reading of Modeling with Mathematics, the textbook.
Paula, I spent quite a bit of time with that textbook. Went online and found out I could get a brand new one for $35 or a used one for $8, and so I have one coming for $8. The reason I want one is because I quite often get asked to tutor someone who's going back to school. There's a glossary at the back of that book that had, not glossary, appendices, I think, that have very straightforward, very easy to follow reviews of things like adding and subtracting fractions. I am so impressed with that book that, yes, I will have one in my house. And I will therefore move that we approve the adoption of Modeling with Mathematics, A Bridge to Algebra 2, second edition, published by Freeman Publishing in 2012. If there's any discussion.
So there's a current motion on the floor, or is there any further comments or questions? So I do have a comment. I gave it to my senior student child, my last one at home, and he's currently a running start student at Clark, and he thoroughly loved looking through that book. So he thought it was pretty good. So with that, is there any other comments or questions? So hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. Can I give a very big shout out to Mariah Haynes, who got this show on the road and continues to do so at Algebra High School, and she's here tonight. So thank you.
You bet. Congratulations and thank you. So our next item on the agenda is our revision to policy number 5010, which is non-discrimination and affirmative action.
So this policy is out of the personnel section, and it's 5010, non-discrimination and affirmative action, and it's a revision. Not working. I can wait. And what the biggest change on this is just that opening statement, and on the board policy that's currently in place, that notice, the description there was a notice of non-discrimination that we use on our website and letterhead and so forth. And so it was actually more than we needed, and as a result of the consolidated program review, when we met with representatives from OSPI and the Office of Civil Rights, they recommended that we use the WASDA model, which is what we've done there. And that's in green. And then the other thing that we changed, and Julie was good about doing this last minute this afternoon, was there were 13 or 14 shalls that had to be changed to will. So that's it.
I'll make a motion that the board approve the revision to policy 5010, non-discrimination and affirmative action.
So there's a current motion on the floor. Any comments?
No.
Hearing no comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. Now, the next item on our agenda, again, is our last citizens' comments of the evening. Is there any at this current time that would like to address the school board? We'll even put the mic back on the table if you'd like. Hearing none, we'll close the citizens' comments part of the meeting here, and our next item is our executive session. Our executive session will be for property sale, which is according to RCW 42.30.1 and or parent C.
I think Kevin was trying to tell me there may be action.
Yes.
There is possible action. We'll recess into the neighboring room for 20 minutes. Then we'll reconvene here if you'd like to stick around and see what that action might be. And if not, thank you for coming and enjoy your evening.